this video because it's my way of processing the death of my father in my own way. And if you know me personally, you know that I'm a very detailed person. I explain everything in detail. And so, since my father's not here, I thought it would be a great time to tell you about a story time. The time that me and my father went to jail together. Yeah, I went to jail at the age of 19 with my father. And I can still hear him laughing from that day. My dad used to always tell me that I talk too much. He's right, but he still loved those same things about me. But one thing I think I took from my father is that even though my dad was a talkative person and so was I, so I am today still. We always watched people, and so this story might make a few people mad. I don't know, but it's my story. So if you don't like it, it's my page, my way. But I would watch my dad, and every day around the same time, at periods of time in his life, he would be, drunk. He would be drunk. He got better over the years, but this one time, I got my heart broken by somebody I really, really cared about. And this one time I was so angry, I wanted the person to pay for the pain that they emotionally caused me. So all I kept thinking about was, I gotta get this out somehow. And then I remembered my father would be drunk around the same time every day. So unfortunately, I used that to my advantage. But I can tell you what, he loved me and he played along. So let's get to the story. So I get my heart broken by this man not even a man, a boy at the time, that I truly, truly cared about, and I was told he was cheating on me. So because I watch people, which I've taken from my father, I went on the porch and I said to myself, what am I gonna do? Because my dad, he's gonna handle this. I know it. My dad's gonna do it. So I went to the porch and I faked like I was upset and I was crying, and I fake cried. I wasn't even crying at the time, but I was angry enough to cry, but the tears wouldn't come. And I waited for my father. I probably waited around like 15 minutes or something, and my dad finally arrived. And when he did, I immediately started fake crying. Like I had my head down and I played the whole thing up. And my dad was so drunk. He got out the car and he could barely stand up, and he was like halfway staggered, and he was like, what's the matter, baby? And he like laughed. And he was like, he hurt you? We didn't even have to discuss who he was. But I was just like, yeah. He was like, you want me to get him? And I was like, yeah, get him, daddy, get him. My dad was like, you want me to give my gun? And I was like, yeah, get your gun, yeah. And my dad always kept a 9mm under the passenger seat in his car. But he had more guns in the house. So my dad is so drunk this day, he goes, you know what? You want me to get all my guns? And I was like, yeah, get the guns. Yeah, he was like, you want me to get them? I'm like, yeah. So we got in the car. We got in that car and we rode out. My dad is like, call your friend and see where he's at. And I was like, all right, yeah. So I called my friend and she tells me my boyfriend is at this Jamaican club. So I'm only 19, and so we pull up, and my dad is like, okay, because he's drunk, and he's like, I'm gonna go in there, and you stay out here, and I'm gonna go get him, and I'm gonna bring him out here, and then we gonna handle him then. And I was like, okay, yeah, go get him. So he goes in, and he comes out, he goes, he ain't in there. And I was like, are you sure? He was like, I looked all over, he ain't in there. So I was just like, okay. And mind you, the entire time, my dad keeps laughing. He has this distinctive laugh, but he just kept laughing. And he was like, call your friend so we can find out where else he's at. And I was amazed at how controlled the vehicle was, even though my dad was speeding, because we trying to find this he that broke my heart. And we find out that he has got an apartment. And I'm like, he got an apartment and I don't know nothing about it. Like, he had just moved in. So we roll up to this apartment, and my dad gets me out the car, and he's like, okay, this is what we gonna do. You gonna go up there, and you gonna knock on the door. And then you're gonna take it from there. And he's still laughing. And I'm like, okay, yeah, okay. So I go up to the door, and I'm so afraid. Like, my heart is beating, but I'm mad. Everything's going on, and I like barely touch the door. I'm like, tap, 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 tap. And I turn around, and my dad's like, beat it! Like, beat the door. And I was like, right, beat it. And I'm like beating the hell out this door. Like, I'm like beating it like the cops are trying to break in, if you know what I mean. So as I'm beating the hell out this door, the door finally comes open, and it's my boyfriend, and he's like, what? And I'm like, why are you cheating on me? And I had like one tear drop down, and he was like, man, don't come up in here like you're gonna do, you know, beep. Don't come up here like gonna do anything. And I'm like, what? And I put another word in front of it, but I was like, what? And I got so mad, I like slapped him on the chest and I like yanked his shirt really hard, like this, like I was trying to jack him up. So natural reflex is the person is gonna respond, but I just remember him going like this. I wouldn't even say the dude was gonna hit me. He just probably, I don't know what he was gonna do, but it looked like he was gonna hit me. I just remember my father was like way back. And all I heard was click, click. And the guy I was seeing at the time was really fair skinned. And so there was like this red dot right there. And I was like, Daddy, no. I turned around to try to say no. And my dad still had that laugh. He was laughing. He was like, do it. I want you to. So I can shoot your beep. So I can shoot you, you know, do it. Like, he was basically challenging the dude to make an attempt to swing on me. Of course, my dad wouldn't have let that happen, but boy was smart. He like snatched my arm off his shirt, pushed me back, and he ran in the house and he closed the door. And when I turned around, the laugh that my dad had, he was just like, come on. And he kept laughing. He was like, come on. He's scared, come on. And I was just like, No, we're not leaving, because he needs to pay, because I hurt. And my dad was like, come on. And he was still laughing. And I was like, no. And to this day, I thank God that he spared the life of me and my father, because I like literally tried to take the gun from my father. And thank God it was on safety. But I'm like, we're like fighting over this gun, and my dad had it on safety. Like, he was drunk enough to make sure, you know, he scared my boyfriend, but he wasn't too drunk to where he didn't make sure that I was safe, because y'all was like trying to fight him for this gun. Like, we're pushing each other. I'm like trying to take gun, and my dad was like, stop. Like, he was trying to make sure that nothing happened. And I remember in the middle of us like pushing each other and trying to get this gun, me trying to get a gun away from him, and all type of stuff going on, the door opened again. And so you should have seen us. We were like, and then all of a sudden we heard the door open, and both of us were like, we just stopped. It still hurts. But this time, my boyfriend's best friend came out, and I just remember him saying, y'all want to shoot somebody? Shoot me. And my dad was like, click, click. Except for his friend was like, I ain't think about y'all. I'm going to call the police. So I just want to say for the record, my dad never had any intentions of killing anybody. He probably would have beat him up if he could have. I don't know. I don't think he did. My dad wanted to just scare him, and he wanted to show that he was there for me. And who knows? Maybe he would have. But when the friend was like, I'm gonna go call the police, my dad still had that same laugh. He just kept on, come on, he's scared, let's go. So he's like laughing, and I'm like, no, because I'm like, I knew what we came there for. Like, you raised me to stand alone, and if I gotta fight, I gotta fight. But I wasn't alone that day. I have my my ace, my buddy, my dad, my father. He was like, come on, let's go. So surprisingly, the guy actually did call the cops, and when they came, I wasn't ready. put this out there. I didn't want to kill my boyfriend. I wanted my boyfriend scared too. Except for I just wanted to hurt him a little bit. Like, I thought maybe we were just gonna, like, you know, bump him upside, you know, hit him upside the head with the gun a little bit. Like, think about what you're doing. Like, look who you hurting. This is like amazing. But I know half of y'all are like, this chick is crazy. I was 19 then, I'm 45 now. I've determined I don't look good in orange. That ain't my color. Like, you'll never see me wear it. I don't like to wear it. It's not my color. But that's why I was fighting my dad so hard for this gun, because I just wanted to, like, I wanted to break the door in, scare him a little bit more. I wanted to bop him in the head. Maybe my dad slap him around a little bit, something. I wanted something. I wanted him to pay. But I remember, and this isn't everybody's reality. This is what I've seen. Okay, so I always had a pretty sheltered life, so I didn't live anywhere rough where there was always cops around. But if I was near somewhere, it was a predominantly black area, you never got the full siren. You would get whoop whoop. And I was like, shoot, that's the cops. But my dad was like, it's the cops. And he still was laughing. My dad ran toward the right of the building, and I ain't see him no more. And I'm so mad and so, I don't even know what you would call it. Like, I was not thinking clear at all, but I was so upset that I stood there. I stood there, and when the cops came over, they weren't even talking to me. So, okay, picture this. I am facing the cops, and the cop had like his shoulder to me. And the friend was on the opposite side, and they were walking. So if I'm facing this way, they were walking like across in front of me. And I remember the cop, because I could hear him because they were from a distance again. And the cop was like, son, tell me what happened. He's not talking to my boyfriend. He's talking to the boyfriend's friend. And I remember his friend looking around the cop, and he was like, yeah, she just mad because he don't want her no more. And I was like, what, he just called me? Like, I was mad. So I gotta show you what I was doing. So let me show you. Okay, right, so this is me. So the cop is walking by, and I'm in the corner, and my dumb is in the corner going, I'm not even in the corner. I'm just like across, like way back, a couple of feet back, and I'm just like, and I just kept fidgeting because I was so mad because I want to see what he had to say. So when he made his little comment about, yeah, that he don't want her no more, and that's why she's mad, I was like, what he called me? And around the time I could throw a football like real good, right? So this is me. I was like, oh, I know. He ain't getting away with saying that. So this is me. I'm like, I know, you know. And I'm like trying to figure out which shoe I'm gonna take off my foot. And I take my shoe off and I throw it. I throw it so hard, it goes in front of the cop's face and it hits the friend, from what I can see. So you can imagine me at the time, I'm thinking, I done got away with this. That lasted for 2 seconds before I heard the cop going, that's it, you going to jail. And this is me, like, he is like running towards me, and I'm like, whoa, like I'm trying to back up. All I remember is this cop like threw me down on the ground, handcuffed me, and when he did, he picked me up by my thongs and my handcuffs, and he just tossed my little featherweight self across the back seat of the police car. So at this point, I ain't seen my dad in a minute. So I'm like, dang, going to jail. So the whole time in the car, because I gotta play tough, I'm in the back seat and I'm like yelling like, let me out, let me out. I'm like, God, stop, like this in the back seat. I can't go nowhere. In my mind, I couldn't. So we get to the jail, and I remember the officer took me out, and we're going inside the building, and they get ready to uncuff me. And I distinctly remember them trying to, like, I don't know if they were trying to put my finger on anything, but they were like trying to uncuff me. And I'm immediately like, stop touching me. Don't touch me. I want to call my daddy. Because I ain't seen my daddy in like, it felt like 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more. But I was like, I ain't seen my daddy. And all of a sudden, I heard, Kia, and that laugh. And I looked over, and it was my dad. And I was like, Daddy! Daddy! I think at that point, after I saw my dad and the fact that he kept laughing, I think the most important part when the day after I lost my father, which was yesterday, all I kept remembering was that laugh, because you couldn't break his spirit like you couldn't. And that's some type of love that I'll probably never have. For a man to be willing to go to war for me just because somebody hurt me emotionally, broke my heart, or just broke my heart. They hadn't beaten me, they hadn't spit on me, they hadn't stolen anything from me, they hadn't robbed me, they hadn't done anything that would trigger most people to go to that extreme of risking going to jail. But he was there. He was there. And I can't get that back. I won't tell you the rest of the story, but I don't know who's watching this video, but if there's somebody in your life that will be willing to go to war for you on any matter, not just go to jail, but they won't let anybody say anything bad about you. They won't let anybody tear you down emotionally. They won't let anyone do anything to you that you can't recover from. Like, no matter what form it's in, value that person. Because when they're gone, you can't get them back. And you know, my dad was literally the king of embarrassing moments for me and my siblings. But I remember this one thing, and it hurts me to this day because I would give anything to have it back. But me and my sister used to go to the bus stop, right? And some of these mornings, if my dad was there and maybe he had been out the night before having a little bit too much communion, if you know what I mean, he would wait till we get down to the bus stop and he would yell really loud, "Who loves you, baby?" And me and my sister would be like, oh my God, like hide behind the bushes. He's so freaking embarrassing. Sometimes he'd have on a shirt, and sometimes he wasn't. And at that time he had that little like beer belly or whatever. But he would scream and be like, "I said, who loves you, baby?" And my sister and I would still be like, okay. All the kids at the bus stop would be looking like, who the hell is that dude talking to? Like people that didn't know he lived there. And then he would say our name, Kia, Nikki, I said, who loves you, baby? And he wouldn't stop until we would yell back, "You do, Daddy." Now, if I could hear him say that one more time, I would take whatever embarrassing moment he would give me just to say that. Another embarrassing moment was me and my sister still don't forget this one to this day either. We were told to clean up our room because our dad was like strict with like, we couldn't like, he didn't want us talking to any boys, we couldn't be out late, we couldn't do a bunch of stuff. But if he gave us an opportunity to do anything different, we had to abide by the rules. And he was a military man and he had standards, so you better have everything clean. Our house stayed clean most of the time, you know, except for our room would get a little bit out of order. So this one day, me and my sister wanted to go to a basketball game. And it wasn't just any basketball game. It was like the basketball game because the school that had the finest men ever, boys, okay, the finest, we're gonna be at this basketball game. So we're like, we're not gonna get caught not finishing up our room or whatever, so we just gonna go. So we get all the way to the basketball game, and for some stupid reason, me and my sister chose to sit way up at the top, almost in the center of the gym. And now this is like, God, I promise it had to be like 500 people there. It had to be, maybe a little bit less. In my mind, it was a lot of people. And all I know is we were having a good time. My dad comes in, eating popcorn, and he did not match. I think around this time, people were like huge on name brand stuff, but you were supposed to name brand match. Like you couldn't have on Nike shoes, Adidas pants, and Fila top. Like it was a no-no. But my dad came in looking like that, and he saw us. We happened to see him, but we were like, we're gonna play this off. It's like thousands of people. We don't even know why he's here, but we're gonna play this off. So my dad comes over to the center of the gym where we were, and he points up and he goes, you, get down here. You didn't clean your room. And so, of course, me and my sister did what we usually do. We were like, well, who are you talking to? Like, this and that. Until he said our name. Kenya, Nikki, get down here. The shamery. The shamery. He was like, don't make me come up there and get you. And we knew my daddy was ready to show out. Wherever you are at, he is ready to perform. So we came down. We got them down there like really, really quick. Since the passing of my father, which was October the 8th, 2023, I can't stop going to work every day. And I'm on time. My father kept a job. He was very punctual. He was on time. But there's one reason specifically that I continue going to work every day. I have his watch on. And if you know me personally, I like men's watches so much. I really, really do. I'm a watch kind of girl. But I wear it every day. But I go to work every day because I feel like that's what he would have wanted me to do. For one, and he was such a he was big on making sure that I stayed strong through any type of situation. So he would never say you gotta just be strong. My dad would never say just be tough. He would say get tough. And I'm like, how do you do that? Like, but I get it now. I go to work every day until whenever his funeral comes up, because the hospital that I work at now, every time my father would call, and some of the hospitals that I worked at as I traveled the world for employment, he would call and the signal would be so bad, the phone would go to voicemail, and I could always count on there being a voicemail where he'd go, hey Kenya, it's your dad, call me back, I love you. And now, that's all I have. So, most people are expecting for me to break or to have the experiences that they had. But I remember something from my father as well. He would tell me stuff like, anytime you don't want to hear the word no, or you don't like the way that someone does something, change it or do it for yourself. And if you know me personally, you know I'm definitely a person who never goes by the beat of another person's drum, rides the same wave as somebody else, and I don't have to have an army for me to stand by myself. And so, as I'm hurting, I'm gonna push through. And for everybody that's expecting for me to have this huge breakdown to where I can't move or do something else in life at all, that's your story. This is mine. I was built and created to be strong, and I might cry, but I'm gonna go through stuff crying, and I'm not stopping because nothing blocks me except for me. And I learned that from my father. And if I could talk to him now, I would tell him, thank you for teaching me that. And thank you, and I love you because you still make me laugh. I want to say to anybody who has not experienced the loss of a loved one yet, one day it's gonna happen, and everybody handles it different, and you may not be prepared, but only you can choose how the situation makes you move afterwards. You have to be strong enough for yourself to choose. If you're a person that needs to cry, cry. If you're a person that needs to work, work. If you're a person that needs to eat, enjoy all them donuts. Kill it. Do it. If you're a person that needs to work out, work out. Do you. Create your own memories. Do your own thing. I remember, this is so weird. 2 people at my job lost their brothers one 2 weeks ago, one last week, and I remember sitting at work and my heart was breaking for them, and I was like, dang, that's like horrible. That hurts so bad. I hurt for them. I hope it's not me. And in my mind, I'm the same as any other little girl, grown woman, any other person period in this world, to where you don't purposely try to sit down and imagine the day that you're going to lose a loved one. For me, I didn't want to picture losing anybody in my family, especially not my parents or my kids. And I wasn't ready. I feel like I wasn't ready, but apparently I was. But I'm choosing life. I'm choosing to stand. I'm choosing to press on. I do cry. I do laugh. I do feel angry. I do feel relaxed. I do feel like eating. I don't feel like eating. I feel like talking. I don't feel like talking. And it's all okay. Because it's my world. My way. My page. My life. And you have the same opportunities. So you choose. You choose. All I'm gonna say today is that there is nothing, and I mean nothing, like a father's love for his child, especially for his daughter. That protection. He ain't gonna let anybody get to his little princess, not at all. But I love this story because I've kept it for a bunch of years, and I've told a few people about it. But I remember when my father was in the hospital a couple of weeks back, I remember he was asleep. And I remember the nurse saying, you guys must be like real close. And I was like, oh yeah, me and my dad were real close. And I told him about the time that me and my dad went to jail together. And I remember my dad like cracked his eyes open and he had like this little smile. And then he said, you remember that? And I was like, yeah, you're my ace. We were Bonnie and Clyde. We went to jail together. Like, how many people can say that? They went to jail with their father at the age of 19 because he wouldn't let anybody just hurt my feelings, break my heart, change my emotions. Like, who's willing to go to war for you like that? I'm not saying it may have been the best thing, but I felt something. That man loved me. He did. And I wish he was here now so I could tell him how much I appreciate it.